Hello everyone, my name is Anastasia and I'm glad to welcome you all to the short webinar where we solve real tasks without involving programming. On previous webcasts, I show how Sugar admins can solve data processing tasks within Sugar, like updating logically related information within Sugar. You may watch our webinars in our website. Today's webcast challenge is to help business users, as usual, in their opportunity closing process. So when opportunity is closed, the detailed description should be sent to engineering department with all necessary specifications. Sales managers are usually busy people, so they shouldn't worry about sending information every time opportunity is closed. So systems should help them and should do it on a background. The fostered idea for the automation is configuring logic instead of programming it. That is why I will leverage the tool Logic Builder, the tool that empowering Sugar admins to solve various kinds of business challenges. There are no requirements to have programming experience, since it has visual editor which helps you to build your own logic. The only thing I would suggest you to do prior to the configuration is to get aware of the module of your Sugar modules, what fields it has, and so on. The overall delivery process may be like this, starting from the receiving your challenge, like ours today, configure solution in Logic Builder, automatically build the Sugar package and deploy it into Sugar. And that's it. And all these steps we are going to do today. Let's see all these steps in the action. So for this, now I'm switched to browser and navigate to Logic Builder integrascrm.com. This is an address for our Logic Builder. Here in this form, sign in, or if you do not have credentials, just sign up. And you are in. The grid that you see here, it's your working space. It's a place where we will build our logic. And on the top of the page, there is a menu which currently hiding some options. In flowchart section, there are general managing options like saving your visual presentation, loading it, and so on. In edit, there are options to import and export your visual presentation of logic. In toolbox sections, there are all necessary pieces of logic with which we are going to work today. And in quick start section, there are options to help build your very first flowchart with all necessary steps. So I said that here in workspace you will build a logic. This logic contains from pieces of logic which are in toolbox section. So here you just simply choose some piece of logic some action that you want to, and put it into canvas. These actions basically call operators, and each operator has its name in the top of it, which can bring you an idea what this particular operator does. And you connect operators between each other in special order, and in the end you will have a functionality, some logic. And this visual presentation of your logic is called a flowchart. So this is a basic term, so that's why I said if. Also, operators have some inputs and some outputs. These inputs and outputs are called ports. When they're on the left side, it's input ports, so you need to input some data there. And on the right side, there are output ports. Basically, there are only two types of these ports. If it's triangular one, it's called a control flow ports. and it determines the order of operators execution. Let's see all of this in the action, and let's build our today task. So I zoom out a little bit. For this I use scrolling button, select all this with my left button and remove it from my working canvas. The very first thing that everyone needs to do when you want to build the logic is to import your sugar metadata. So you need to connect to your sugar here in Import Sugar Metadata menu. Type your URL to sugar, enter your login and password from sugar user and click import. Sometimes you will see this error here. No worry, there are three options why this error can occur. First one, be sure that your sugar instance is seen from the outside world. I mean that it is not located in your local network. The second one option is that you provide correct credentials to your sugar login and password. And final one, as you may know, starting from sugar version 7.11, all external custom API platforms should be registered firstly in the sugar. If you are using sugar 8 and or 8 sugar 8, it's very simple to do this. To register custom API platform. For this, I navigate to Administration and then proceed to Configure API Platforms and simply here type Logic Builder. Chrome hints to me what I need to type. It's Logic Builder and click Add and Save. So this is a very simple steps to register your custom platform. If you are using Sugar version 7.11, you will need to download in your Sugar a special platform registration package. So when we register this platform, when all changes will be saved, we can return to our Logic Builder and check whether we can download our metadata for now. So Sugar says that it's done. Come back to Logic Builder, close this arrow, and click Import again. One thing about Sugar user with which you are going to log in. Preferably use admin access to your Sugar because Logic Builder respects role restrictions. I mean that if your user cannot access to accounts module, you won't be able to work with this module in Logic Builder. So now we connected to Sugar, our loading button disappeared, and we can start. Everything has its start. So the logic obviously must be start from something. As a start elements, Logic Builder offers several options. We scroll down to the events section, and here are two most commonly used options, operators. First one is on data change. It works when something changes in the record. For example, when user change opportunity status, it's on data change. And the second one is on link change. This operator determines that your logic should start when relationship between two records is changed, removed or added. Our task today is work when opportunity is closed, so on data change is our today's choice. I remove unnecessary operator, go to the context menu by clicking right button of mouse and delete it. So what we have here, we need to input two parameters in this operator. First one is a module, and here we need to define changes in which module should lead to execution of our logic. It's opportunity, because we need to send an email when opportunity is closed one. And event type show us here we need to define when exactly our logic should execute, before the record was changed or after this. Let's choose after save. So we determine all necessary parameters and we have a start point. We mark start point when opportunity is changed. After this change, we need to do something. And now we are going to put next steps. What we need to do next? If we leave as is, our logic works every time when opportunity is changed. But we need to work only when opportunity changed its status and it changed to the status closed one. This is a conditions. So when we are talking about conditions, we use operator branch in logic build. So I type branch in search and put this operator onto canvas. Branch divides your flow of your logic on two paths, true or false, based on the result of conditions that input here. So now we need to build the condition. Let's move this operator. So the first conditions that we have, we need to verify that opportunity status was changed. For this, we need to get value from the field status. When we want to get some values from fields, we use operator get entity attributes. Put it here on the canvas. It's empty now, but as soon as we specify what entity, from what entity we want to get our fields, like we need opportunity, so I click on this port and link it here. And now they are all fields from our opportunity. And we are looking for status, sales status, here it is. And now we need to compare value in this field with previous one. And previous one state of our record we can get from this port, data output port. So again, we use get entity attributes and put here the previous state of our record. So put it here, and again we will choose sales status. And now we need to say that these two values should not equal each other. For this, there are condition operators, and now we need to choose A doesn't equal B, and link these two operators, which contains values in sales status field. And the second condition, we need to be sure that status is closed one. For this, I need to compare value in this field with some constant. There are several types of constants in Logic Builder. Here all these, and we know that sales status, it is a drop down, so I will use a drop down constant and put it here. Firstly, I need to define what drop down I'm looking for. It's sales status here, and then I need to specify a value which I need is closed one. And now I need to compare that value in status, opportunity status is equal to closed one. And finally, I need to say that when all of these conditions are met, we need to send an email. So I say and, I choose and. So in these steps, we define that sales status is not equal to previous one, and current sales status is closed one, and put it in condition in our branch operator. And if operator has this input control flow port, we need to specify what happened before. So our first step is work when opportunity changed, and then we need to check if these changes are what we are looking for, like it's changing of status on closed one value. And that's all about condition. Let me zoom a little bit, and I suggest when you build some logic, put comments here. For this, with left button, I select all necessary operators. call to context menu with right button and push on comment selected items. And here I add a comment, check opportunity status, for example. Then when I return to my visual presentation of logic, it brings me an idea what a set of operators do. And also the second trick is that all these operators now I can easily move on the canvas by selecting this comment and move it with my mouse. So we check everything, we put our start point, and now it's time to proceed to our email. Email should have some template. So based on some template text, we need to send email to our engineering department. Logic Builder has several extensions, and one of them is HTML template engine. And this engine is add-on on Sugar. I've previously deployed it. So LB templates, it's a Logic Builder extension to have a possibility to build an emails. So I have some tested here, and now let's create a new one that we are going to send today. First one, we need to define the name of our template. This this name won't show in the email by itself, so choose that you like one. For example, opportunity to engineering department. Then context, it's variables that you can use in your template, and then match these variables with data from Sugar. And of course, when recipient receives a message, all variables should be replaced with actual values. In engine type, there are two values actually. Base engine type, it means that it's some kind of usual template. You can use variables, you can use static text, and so on. And the second one option is a smart engine type. It do everything that base does, but have some extent option. With Smarty template, you can do conditional formatting. So Smarty templates, in Smarty templates, you can define some kind of logic in template by itself. I will show you this. So let's proceed to type our template here in template section. Let's start, for example, from order. Here I want to put an order number. So I define my first variable. I give it a name. The name is name. And put it in the template. For this, I click on play button. So order number has been placed. Then we should think about recipient of our email, so it must be recipient friendly. Engineers require some information about account. So I put account here, and now we specify what exactly we want to show from account. I think it will be account name. So I put variable account name, and the second variable from accounts will be account address, and I put this variable here. Then engineers want to have a contacts from this opportunity, to have some contact information. So I put contacts here, and we know that opportunity has a lot of contacts. So in Logic Builder, we are going to collect all these contacts in table and output here in template. But in template, we just define one variable like contacts table and put it in template on the next line. Then the main thing is our products. So what products are in this opportunity? So the same idea as for contacts, we put products, and put one variable products table, which we are going to fill in logic builder. Put it here, products. And also I believe there is need to get information about sales manager from this opportunity. So let's choose sales manager name and sales and email. So sales manager name, sales manager email. And finally, to show you the possibilities of Smarty template, let's assume that when opportunity has nodes which mark it as special requirements, we need to bring the special requirements into this email. So engineers should know what are some kind of options that manager provided and so on. So we input one more variable for where we will store these special options. Let's name it like special options. And here we may type a condition. Smarty templates use the simple if then else logic. So you put if and without space here, if our variable without these braces is not empty. So if this variable is not empty, it means that there are some special requirements, we output this text. Please consider these special options. And we need to close our if statement. And of course, we do not forget to output the special options. And let it say that it should be in red and in bold. And let's do the bigger font size for these products. So we define our template and let's save it. Let me open this. So there are a lot of variables that we are going to fill in Logic Builder. Match these variables with data from Sugar. Let's start to do it. For this, we return to Logic Builder. And firstly, let's collect all products from our opportunity. Firstly, we need to retrieve these products. We know that products are stored in revenue line items. So we are going, starting from opportunity, retrieve all related revenue line items. When we want to retrieve some related records, we can use several operators. I believe that we are going to use all of them today. So let's start from the retrieve entities by attributes. It works the same idea as you perform searching in Sugar. You define a module, so we need revenue line items. And then you define which fields, with which values in fields you want to find out records. Firstly, we need to be sure that these revenue line items are related to our opportunity. For this, I get opportunity ID from the opportunity and put this value into opportunity ID from revenue line items. And also I want to get only closed one revenue line items. So I put it here. And every time we need to link our operators with previous one. So when our conditions are met, we need to retrieve our revenue line items. As outputs, we have here in first output port squared one, all revenue line items that were found by these conditions. So square needs to brings you an idea that there are several items here. Entities number just shows how many entities was found. So if there are 5 revenue line items related to this opportunity and they are closed one, we have 5 value here. And single entity contains only one entity from the set, random one, or if you use this operator for one-to-one relationship, you can use this output port. So we need to put condition here, because if there are not any revenue line items for this opportunity, we do not need to send something to our engineers. So let's put this condition. Again, we will use branch. We always use branch when we need some condition. And now we need to compare that entity's number is greater than 0. And now I will use constant number, because 0 is a number. Put 0 here and link it here. And this condition we put into branch section. And when it's true, when there are some revenue line items, we need to build a table where all products will be shown. To build the table, firstly we need to specify it. For this, in Logic Builder there are options. I scroll down to the notifications section. Here it is. So here we have create table operator. I put it in the canvas, create table, and it does what it says. It's a created table. And in scheme, we need to specify what columns this table will have. So we need to pick up table scheme. And here I define all columns, like its name of the product. I believe we need quantity. And for example, we need special information like part number and some description from revenue line item to our engineers. So we created our table, and now we need to fill this table with all products from revenue line items. And as I say, here we have not only one record, but possible several ones. And when we need to perform the same steps for several records, it's a loop, a cycle actually. And now we need to build it. When we're talking about cycles, we use operator for each. I move my canvas, put it here, for each entity. It has several control flow outputs and inputs. So the first one aims to connect with previous one step. So after we create a table, we go to start our cycle. Then there is a loop body, and after this, all operators that are located in loop body are repeated for each entity. So it's a body of your cycle. And when this operator runs out from all set of items, from revenue line items, for example, your control flow automatically goes on the completed section. And break aims if you want to stop your cycle, so you do not have to walk through each item, and you need to find the first one that meets your criteria. You just put your control flow into break, and it automatically goes to the completed section. So let's first define with which set of items we are going to work, and we return to retrieve entities and put it here. Now we need to get a product from each revenue line item. For this, I need firstly retrieve value from field called product template ID. It's an ID of a product from these revenue line items. And now I will use retrieve entity operator, because I know that one revenue line item has one related product, and by this ID I need to find my product. And these steps are repeated for each revenue line item. And finally, we need to get some values from this entity, from products, and put these values into our table. I close this menu to scroll you. So here we created a table, and now we need to fill this table with values. For this, I return to my menu and search for operator add table row. I put it here, connect with previous one step, and in table I need to define to which table I want to add some values. I return a little bit. Here is my created table, and I link it into this input port. And here are all my columns from table, and now I'm going to create a new row. The name, it is the name of the product, so from product fields I choose name and put it here. Quantity I may have from revenue line item, so I return to place where is my revenue line item located. It's at the start of our cycle, and I choose quantity here and input it in table. Part number is also information from a product, so I return to product fields and choose part number here and input it in table. And finally, a comment, I decided it is description from revenue line item and put it into comment. So our table actually is done for products. So now we need to store this table for future use when we are going to process our template. You see, when you are working with cycles, you cannot link anything from cycle in completed control flow. So you see here, for example, this is actually my cycle. This is steps. These 4 steps are repeated for each revenue line item that found here in this condition. And I can't output anything. For example, this table link there in completed control flow. But if we need to do this, we use special storage, temporary storage, and it's called variables. So we set variable here, put it into canvas, give an unique name of the variable, like products table, and put in value our table. And then I can use this variable outside of cycle, which we are going to see a little bit later. So we collected all product information. Let's comment this section. Comment selected items. And for example, I sometimes do put a number that this is the first step, like collect products. We collected all products, and in the same way, let's collect our contact information. So again, I will use retrieve related entities. Why? Because I want to retrieve related to my opportunity contacts. I put retrieve related into canvas, find out my opportunity. Here I have on the start here. And here I need to define a name of the relationship that I'm looking for. It's contacts, yes. And now I need to link this operator with previous steps, and I need to go up and find. So if if there are no revenue line items, we won't send anything. So my flow will go after completed. So I found my completed output and put it here. So let me show you how it works. When your control flow comes here, these steps are repeated for each revenue line item, and when we run out from it, control flow goes on the completed and go to the retrieve related entities, and here we are looking for contacts. And the same idea, we need to create a table for our contacts in the same way as we've done for our products. And for contacts, I believe we want to show name, phone, and email. We define our table, and then again in cycle, we are going to fill our table with contact information. It's more simpler here because we just need to get from our contact Here is our one contact record. We need to get name. We need to get phone. Let it be phone, mobile. And finally, we need to get email. When you want to use primary email in Logic Builder, it's a field email1 in users, in contacts. So email1, it is a primary email from your record. And then in cycle, we want to add table row. Our table is our contacts table, so define it here and pick up all columns and define that we in name column we put name from contact, in phone mobile phone, and in email. And in the same idea we need to save our table for using outside of the cycle. So we need to define new variable like contacts table, and that's all about collecting all contacts. Also, let's comment this section. So I selected comment selected items and put, for example, to collect contacts. The next thing, let's return to our template to remember. So we collected contacts, we collected products, and we need some information from order and account. But first, let's collect information about these special options. Return to Logic Builder, and now again we want to retrieve related records. Let's put retrieve related entities. And now we are looking for related to opportunity. Here I choose opportunity. We are looking for related nodes. And I don't want to output this information in table. I want to just like a text output it in my template. So let's accumulate all these nodes, because there may be several ones, in our temporary storage, our variable. So firstly, we need to define it in set variable the same way, and let's name it special options. And here we need to define that before we start collecting our nodes at all, this variable is empty. Imagine it's like a box, and we define that for now this box is empty. Then we need to check each node, and when I say each, I use for each entity and specify which entities, its nodes. I need to check whether node has a related tag of it. So I assume that special requirements, it's a tag added to our node, and its tag is called actually special requirements. So I simply retrieve again related entities. Now we are looking for related entities to our nodes, and these nodes, this relationship is called tags. And we need to check each tag. Again, I use for each entity. I need to check if this tag has a name, a special name. Oops, sorry. I put branch here, branch, because I talk about a condition, and I need to get the name of this tag. So I put here tag. From tag, I want get the name and check that this name is equals to some string constant. And this string in my case is special requirements. So if the name that related to our node is special requirements, so when this condition is true, we want to add to our temporary storage, to our box, this node description and its name. So firstly, I need to get current value in our variable. For this, I put get variable, And I need to define what variable I'm looking for. Let me come back a little bit. It's this SP options. Also, I want to get from my node description and subject. I need to find where node located. Here I have tag, and here is my node. So I put this node entity and link it here. And choose description and subject. And now I need to concatenate all these values, and I want to be and I want that new line should be between these values. And for concatenation, there is a special operator, concatenate strings. So we need to get old value from variable, and for new line, I want a subject of my node, and then I want a description of it. And all this I need to set in this variable, in this box, as SP options. So how it works? Imagine that here we have some box. Here we define that it's empty for now. We start from here, and we have two, for example, nodes. We pick up the first node and check, does it have a tag that has a name special requirements? If yes, we return to our box, get the value that is stored here. For now it's empty, and add to this box description and subject of this node, and put it all in the box. Again, our control flow returned to our cycle of nodes, and we have a second node. Again, we check all the related tags, and for example, there is a tag special requirements for the second node. Again, we get our value from our box where located the first node description and subject. And to this description and subject, we add a new value, values of description and subject, and put in our box again. So we have a concatenation of several information from first node, from second node, and so on, how many nodes there are, and if there are for this opportunity. So we collected special requirements, and now, oh, I forgot to link. It's very important, because when your control flow do not link to the further steps, of course it will be finished in some here, for example, if I forgot to add this link, but I do not forgot. Actually, we get all information when we regarding contacts, regarding account, products and nodes. And now it's time to let's go to processing our template. And for this, in toolbox section, there is an operator called get HTML text from template. Let me zoom in a little bit. What we need to do here, we need to match all our variables that we defined in Sugar with metadata from Sugar. What variable should store and what it should display when this template will be processed and sent to our recipient. So we need to pick up a template here. You see that there is no template that I've created on the start of our webinar, because we import metadata from Sugar before I created this template. So simply return to flowchart section and click import. Nothing will disappear from here. We just reread our metadata from Sugar to see if there are any changes. So here is my template, and now we need to pick up all variables and match with the data. So let's start. Name, it's the name of our opportunity, so I use get entity attributes here, and I need to define opportunity here. If you remember, we have opportunity on the very beginning, so we return to it, pick up opportunity and link and link and link and link and link it here. And we want to get the name and put it and match that opportunity name is the variable name in our template. Then we want to show account name and address. For this, I use, for example, let me show you retrieve related entities use case. Again, I need to input output here. I zoom out and again return to the very beginning, pick up my opportunity and define it here. Then I need to select a relationship name, it's accounts, and I know that each opportunity has one and only one account for my instance, and I can use single entity for now. So I will use get entity attributes and link single entity, put my account that only one here. I can do this for this relationship and choose what I need, name, account name, and account address. I decided to combine account address in Logic Builder, so I choose shipping street, shipping let's city, and let's define shipping postal code. Let's define these three fields and concatenate again all these values. Concatenate all these values into one string. So firstly we need street, then in my results string I want some space, so I put comma space and put it here. Then I want city, then I again want some space, and finally postal code. And result of this concatenation I put in account address. Actually I need to move it a little bit because we need some more space. Then we want to show contacts table, and now it's time to use our variable where we put our table of contacts. Let's zoom out and return to the place where we collect our contacts. Here it is. So I copy paste, Ctrl C, and put the name here, Ctrl V, and put value here. That's why we use variables, because you can't just link table from the cycle outside of the cycle. Then we use products table and we choose get variable again, because our products are stored in variable the same as the contacts. Return a little bit. I returned in order to copy paste, not to make some mistake. But if you remember, obviously you could just type here the name of variable and link this product table. Then we have sales manager. Sales manager, it's an assigned user to our opportunity. So we use retrieve entity. Our flowchart becomes a little messy. So I need to find out assigned user ID field. Here's my opportunity, and I use assigned user ID field and put it in here. So I retrieve a user with ID from assigned user from my opportunity, and I need to get from assigned user name, not username but full name. Let me zoom out and zoom in. I need to move my HTML text here. So name, sales manager name, and I believe we have email. So we choose email 1. Again, it's primary email of user and put it here. And finally, to finish processing our email template, we need to define these special options. And if you remember, we use variable for this. So again, we use get variable, and here is this, our special options, and put it here, special options, and input here. So we processed our HTML template, and now it's time to send an email. For sending an email, there is an operator which called this send email. Let's take a closer look. From address, from name, it's from whom this email will be sent. You can leave it empty, and this email will be sent from the default Sugar outbound email account. To address and to name is recipient of the email. You can type this address and name here, and you can get some values from the Sugar. Our requirement is sent to engineering department, and for this showcase, I use a group user named engineering department with the email of these engineers. So I need to retrieve user again. Let me zoom out to my flow. I use retrieve entity again. Let me zoom in so that you see retrieve entity. I choose users here, and as a new operator, get user ID. Here all users. So from instance, so here is engineer department, and I need to link with previous control flow, and I need to get an email one, and I need to get a name, full name. And this is to address email one, and name is the full name of our engineers. And in copy, I believe we should put our manager. Where is he? Here it is, email one, and input in copy. In subject, actually subject must be typed here in Logic Builder. So let me use again string concatenation. I use some constant like order, and I want to output order number. Again, I need to return to my opportunity. I remember here it is opportunity name, and put it here in concatenation order, and then put all this in the subject. And finally, let me just move it out so we have a little bit of mess here. So finally, text. You can type text here as well, but we all this time we process our template. So here is our HTML, the result of our template. We input it in the text data input port. And actually that's all. Now we need to just link our control flow. First of all, we send email after retrieving our user. And if I remember correctly, here I did not link my control flow. So I need to return that after we work out every node, we need to proceed to retrieve related entities. Let's do a very quick retro to be sure that everything was done correctly. So when opportunity is changed after opportunity is saved, we check that sales status was changed to closed one. Then we retrieve revenue line items. We check that there are more than 0, that there are any revenue line items. We create a table for our products table to engineers. And for each revenue line item, we get the related product, and put this product into table. Then, when we're done with our products, we continue to contacts and do the same. We create a table, and for each contact, we add information to the contacts table. After we complete this part, we want to show to know whether there are nodes related with special requirements. So we start to work with each node, check for each node related text, because there may be several, and accumulate these values from nodes into our variable. And after we get all information, we again collect some information from accounts. We collect some information about assigned users. We get our engineer department, and we send an email. I hope that I've done everything right. And now we need to save our logic. For this, in flowchart section, in save flowchart, we want to give some name, like send email to opportunity, send email, sorry, to engineer department when opportunity is closed, and save. So the visual presentation of your logic is saved now. And then we want to generate a sugar package in order to deploy it into sugar. For this, I simply click generate. My package download. I return to sugar and I want to deploy this package. For this, as usual, we go to the module loader and we choose the package that we've already that we just download, upload it into sugar and click on install and commit. So now this functionality that we just built deployed into sugar instance. And while this process, let me say a few words about bring changes to your logic. For this, you go to the logic builder, and in load flowchart section, there are all flowcharts that you created. So you find the needed one, click on it, press load. Your logic outputs on your working space. So you bring some changes like removing some elements or removed links, added some elements. Save these changes and generate one more package. After this, you return to sugar, and in module loader, you find a previous version of this installed package, uninstall it, and then deploy a new one. So this is a process how to bring changes. Now all our logic, I believe, is deployed. So let's go to see how it works in the action. For this, I open my favorite opportunity that I've prepared, of course, for this webinar. I have some notes here, and these notes have tech special requirements. And I have contacts, I have revenue line items, and I need to close my opportunity here, close, and so now our sugar automated process closes my opportunity because all revenue line items are closed. And now the email should be sent to engineer department, where actually my email is set. And here is my email. Let me show you. So here's this processed template that we've built. So here you may see the name of our opportunity. Here is the address. Below all contacts and contacts information that we collected, then sales manager information, and finally products information. But there are no special requirements. Just believe me that they should be there. We can quickly check why. So I show you from my previous letters just how it works. So if there are some related special requirements, they are outputted like this in the letter. So let me return this. No, not this. Sorry. To my presentation. Here it is. I use Logic Builder and I use one extension, LB templates. And if you want your copy, please contact us and we will give it to you. Just let me check if there are any questions here. Any questions? So for now, I do not see any questions. So if you will have one, please contact us in any convenient for you way. And thank you all for watching. I hope to see you soon. Bye bye.